It is Tuesday, the 19th day of November 2019. Hello there and welcome to News Tonight here on UBC TV. First though, let's have a look at our top stories. In our news tonight, Health Ministry wants supplementary budget for medical interns. President Museveni guides police on effective operations. To our weather report shows a decline on literacy and numeracy. And elsewhere in the world, about 200 protesters remain barricaded inside a Hong Kong university. Hello and welcome once again, and we are pleased that you've made UBC TV your channel of choice. On sign language, it is Mugalu Mohammed and I am Edward Rukidi Kijanangoma. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has asked tax authorities in Uganda to stop levying tax on subsistence economies as the people doing petty businesses merely eke for a living. Now, President was opening the 4th African Tax Administration Forum 8th International Conference on Tax in Africa at Kampala Serena Hotel. The 4-day 8th conference is on the theme Innovation, Digitalization and Harnessing Technology to Improve Tax Systems, and has attracted participants from 37 African countries and 11 from outside the continent.
President Museveni has this afternoon opened the 4th African Tax Administration Forum 8th International Conference on Tax in Africa at Kampala Serena Hotel. The 4-day 8th conference is running under the theme Innovation, Digitalization and Harnessing Technology to Improve Tax Systems, and has attracted participants from 37 African countries and 11 from outside the continent.
I congratulate you on 10 years of the organization.
The forum, that is running concurrently with its 10th anniversary since inception in 2009 in Kampala, aims at exploring ways and means of improving the efficiency and effectiveness of mobilization of tax collection in Africa. The conference further aims at looking for ways of optimizing revenue collections, minimizing human mistakes like corruption, and building capacity in revenue collection. President Museveni, who congratulated ETAP for the 10 years of existence, noted that taxing small-scale businesses was a big mistake, adding that only some kind of consumption, especially the luxury type, could be taxed.
I think if you want to help our economies to grow in Africa, we should minimize the taxation of production side. And many of our authorities want to tax them. I don't support that. My view is that leave those people, don't tax them. Let them earn some money and put it in their pocket. I know Ugandans, once they have a bit of money in the pocket, in the evening they will go to the bar. And when they're in the bar, there's a tax on every bottle of beer.
He also advised the tax body to digitally map all properties in towns to ascertain those that are for rent and private ones for easy tax assessment. He welcomed the move to install cameras in factories to monitor production lines of beer for quality and numbers, adding that there was a lot of tax evasion in the country. He said the same applies to imports, which should be monitored from the factories of manufacture and should bear the stamps of those industries. He raised concern about the inadequate scanning of cargo by the Uganda Revenue Authority at border entry points, urging the tax body to do more in that area.
There's a time when I smuggled 12 submachine guns, AK-47, from Tanzania through, there's a border called Lungalunga on the Kenya side, from Mombasa all the way up to Kampala here. 12 machine guns. There was nothing. Those border people were just there.
The chairman of ATAP Council and executive chairman of the Federal Revenue Services in Nigeria, Mr. Tunde Fowler, thanked President Museveni for believing in the vision of ATAP, adding that Africa can solve its own problems. The Commissioner General of Uganda Revenue Authority, Doris Akol, outlined some successes and challenges the authority is facing, which, among others, include taking money out of the country digitally, in most cases evading taxes.
Relevant to this conference, the digital economy is one such challenge. You're familiar with the companies like Jumia, Google Adverts, Facebook, Kiku, and all the other digital companies that are active in your economies. They are everywhere. We have all used them in one way or another, and yet perhaps we have not registered commensurate revenue performance from these, because our policies have not equally adapted to the changing environment.
Now, the Vice President, Edward Kiwanuka Sekandi, has said that Leonardo Opera Omnia exhibition provides a rare opportunity to Ugandans who cannot travel to Italy to see the works of the famed scientist and painter Leonardo da Vinci. Mr. Sekandi was speaking at the launch of the Italian Cultural and Culinary Week at the Uganda National Museum in Chitante, Kampala City.
The Vice President, Edward Kiwanuka Sekandi, has said that Leonardo Opera Omnia exhibition has provided a rare opportunity to Ugandans who cannot travel to Italy to see the works of the famed scientist, historian, literature, astronomy, engineering, and painting Leonardo da Vinci. The Vice President made the remarks last evening at the launching of the Italian Cultural and Culinary Week that was held at the Uganda National Museum in the Kitante in Kampala, capital city. He said that Leonardo's work was more of a means than an end, as it was an instrument of knowledge, science and research which was aimed at advancing professional experimentation. The Minister of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Professor Ephraim Kamuntu, said that Uganda profoundly appreciates the partnership with the Italian government for choosing Uganda as one of the only two countries hosting the Leonardo Opera Omnia exhibition, and hailed the investment made to make the Museum of Uganda acquire an international outlook. The Italian ambassador to Uganda, Massimiliano Mazzanti, said that the Leonardo Opera Omnia exhibition in Africa was taking place in only two cities, being Kampala and Addis Ababa, which means bilateral relations between Italy, Uganda, and Ethiopia. He said that 17 out of the famous paintings of Leonardo da Vinci have all been exhibited in Uganda in their Italian originality, saying that the Cultural Week is going to be used as a platform to raise awareness on the importance of the people living with disabilities and whose liabilities can be transformed into assets.
Angel there with that report there. Now, police have been challenged to design simple operational plans to guarantee security and effective service delivery. President Yoweri Museveni wants at least 20 police officers deployed per sub-county to warrant resourceful policing at grassroots level. Now, he was addressing the Police Council at Naguru Police Headquarters in Kampala.
To welcome President Yoweri Museveni at Police Headquarters in Naguru, a suburb of Kampala, was this well-organized parade. He was meeting police officers as they held their 25th Police Council meeting for self-evaluation.
I want to make one request to you, Your Excellency. I want you to kindly ask the citizens of Uganda today to join you in respecting the uniform of the police force, as you have done so by coming here. This uniform is not personal to these men and women of Uganda. It is in the service of the people of Uganda.
Police welfare, among other challenges, did not skip the concerns by the Inspector General of Police, Martins Okotho-Chola, and other high-ranking officers.
As you have always guided, sir, the current sophisticated crime trend demands that the philosophy of policing be technologically founded on the bedrock of deep concern and cooperation between the police and the public.
Your Excellency, your address, the first of its kind to the Police Council, was timely, productive, educative, and beneficial.
President Museveni, in his policing proposal, wants at least each of the 1,600 sub-counties of Uganda to have 20 police officers.
If there are some sub-counties which are big, like in the north used to have big sub-counties, then for those you could have like a modified plan where you could have maybe 2 police stations. Because at one time, some of the sub-counties were really big in the north. Even some of the rural areas like Ngoma, where we were fighting, Ngoma sub-county in Ruwero, in Nakaseke now, it was really big. There were 2 big sub-counties, Wachato and Ngoma. So those ones, in my plan, I would say, if a sub-county is bigger than 4 miles radius, then we need to have like 2 stations there.
As for welfare, President Museveni is against overproducing children by police officers, which he says exposes them to unending brokenness.
If you have got strength to have children, surely you must. You must know how to look after them. So for us, we just take 4 in our police secondary school, which will have to be boarding because they are far away from their parents. They will have to be boarding.
It is proposed that establishment of at least 18 police secondary schools across the country could save the corps from social pressures.
Because I introduced this in the army, because I could see that the soldiers were getting small salaries, what will happen to their children? So from the beginning, I told them to build the army secondary school, army schools, primary but also secondary. For the police, because they are scattered, you cannot build a primary school for 20 families. At the primary level, they could share with the civilians. But at the secondary school level, you could build police secondary schools per zone.
The suggestions will be acted upon if the assurance by Inspector General of Police is anything to go by.
We are going to have an operational retreat so that we plan according to the guidance he has given. We go to the ground, make an assessment, and implement it.
The 2019 25th Police Council meeting was held under the theme, Strengthening Our Achievements and Finding Solutions to Policing Challenges to Guarantee Public Safety. Henry Okurut, UBC.
Thanks, Henry, for that report there. Now, Kampala landlords are most likely to lose land after the chairperson, Kampala Land Board, admitted that they worked in error based on forged letters of administration. Yusuf Nsibambi and team were meeting Kosase, chaired by Ibrahim Kasozi, over the custodian board properties.
I'd like to know those 2 which you dealt in when you know that you wouldn't have supposed to deal with them.
Have you understood the question? Those 2 where you knew that...
No, as I was concerned, you know.
Close to 300 titles will be cancelled by the Kampala District Land Board after admitting that they worked in error basing on wrong documents. According to the Committee on Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises, the Kampala District Land Board did not have the powers to deal with custodian Asian properties. Among the plots that had bad titles were Plot 19 Muya Hill, Plot 7 Wilson Street, Plot 91/93 6th Street Industrial Area, Plot 4 Kololo Hill, Plot 6A Market Street, and Plot 6870 Kira Road, Kampala.
Consented that they dealt in them in error. So what's the effect of that? That those who have those titles, they have a bad titles. So what calls for them to go and start a process of cancelling those titles.
Where the forgeries or improper acquisition, we definitely have to rescind our minutes and cancel those titles.
Jinja Municipality East Member of Parliament Paul Mwiru tasked the Kampala District Land Board Chair Sibambi Yusuf to prove whether they really followed procedure on properties of the custodian board in Kampala.
Letters from the Minister of Finance, from all over, and in light of the statutory notice to everybody that you are acting in good faith,
that you submit back to this committee accepting where error of judgment was done. And there's a reason as to why I restrict myself to error.
Really, for us as a controlling authority, we had no bad faith when we were dealing with these properties. I would only request that we can specifically now address each and every case. As I observed and noted, most of these cases have repossession certificates. Then too, the applicants were the people in possession for quite some time, over 10 years or so, since repossession, uninterrupted. So the
Kampala Land Board boss admitted that they handled and dealt with some of the departed Asian plots in error on basis of forged letters of administration.
The board is allowed time. We can avail the repossession certificate on file.
No, that one, the title position we have, but also given to understand, you went ahead and you
gave it
created another title. Is that correct?
The registered proprietor.
Yes.
And he claimed he bought a property. When we looked at the file, there was a repossession certificate.
Yes.
And the lease at that time had expired.
Yes. No, it had.
Yes. It had expired.
Yes.
At the time he applied, the lease had expired.
Yes.
So it reverted back to the controlling authority.
We actually have total knowledge of what is going on, but we are dealing with so many properties, close to 20,000. The entire Kampala Central Business District, Kololo, Bugolobi, Mbuya, it is a wide docket. So it might not be in position specifically to know or to note that there's an error here.
The committee chair, Ibrahim Kasozi, said that Parliament needs to know why they worked in error by the 5th of December 2019. Report compiled by Gloria Guitabinji for UBC News.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Defense and Veteran Affairs, Adolf Mwesige, has met the Assistant Secretary General and Head of the United Nations Support Office in Somalia, Aliza Philpeto, at Defense Headquarters, Mbuya. Mwesige appreciated UN support to Uganda People's Defense Force AMISOM troops in Somalia.
How are you? Very good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Please, have a seat.
We really are committed to the partnership. For the commitment of the Ugandan government to this enterprise of sending equipment. We're sorry for the sacrifice.
That is our experience. That is our experience.
You lived it.
We lived it, and we will. And it works to put the security and defense of a country in the hands of its people, to leave them to determine the destiny. You can assist, you can advise, but ultimately the people must determine the direction where their country must go. And therefore, all our intervention was aimed on that. The training we have given, the presence in Mogadishu itself, we just all aimed at. If we had achieved it a few years ago, we would be happy. If we can achieve that together, then Uganda would be really the happiest.
From regional security to matters pertaining to fighting graft in Uganda, where the head of the anti-corruption unit at State House, Lieutenant Colonel Edith Nakalema, has urged lawful owners of land comprising Block 409 in Sisa Parish in Busiro, Wakiso District to continue unhindered with their projects without fear. Now, she gave the assurance in a meeting with complainants from Sisa over land ownership. Now, the Balangira, with whom the people of the area have developed differences over land ownership, had been expected to attend the meeting but failed to show up, asserting that they had not been given formal invitation. One, Francis Walugembe and Sematimba Chobe led the Balangira. Lieutenant Colonel Nakaleba said that the Balangira and their accomplices should be arrested and charged in courts of law for carrying arms and causing bodily harm to law-abiding wananchi. She was pleased to know that the Uganda Police Force had restored calm in the area that has been restored by Uganda Police. She reiterated that the people are free to use their property. Now, yesterday's meeting was a follow-up of the one that took place on the 10th of November 2019 at the Anti-Corruption Unit office here in Kampala. Uganda College of Commerce Pakwach has graduated 564 students with diplomas and certificates in procurement, marketing, clearing and forwarding, secretarial and information management, hotel and institutional catering, records and information management, procurement. Now, Semera Annette and Vukoni Simon were the best students with 4.93 and 4.83 CGPAS in options accounting respectively. Now, the Minister for Education, Janet Katam Museveni, delegated Ms. Nasaza Jalia, Manager of Professional Education at UBTEB, who encouraged the graduates at Uganda College of Commerce grounds in Pakwach.
Meet the chief guest.
It gives me great pleasure and honor to officiate at this 13th graduation of the Uganda College of Commerce Pakwach. On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sports, I take this opportunity to welcome all of you in your various capacities to this graduation.
Now, the Kampala Metropolitan East Community Liaison Officer, ASP Wakisada Yakubu, has applauded Youth Integrated Development Organization for promoting schools against crime awareness in schools. Wakisada was addressing the pupils of police officers at Ntinda Police Children's School during the Schools Against Crime Sensitization training. Let's get more on that in this report.
Youth Integrated Development Organization and police have started children awareness of police officers, especially in police schools in Kampala. The organization has visited pupils of police officers at Ntinda Police Children's School and sensitized them about how to behave while residing in the barracks.
We partner with Uganda Police Force and we know how occupied is our force. So whereas they are outside there trying to make sure we carry on our activities, we feel we should lend that hand also of making sure their younger ones are safe wherever they are. These things are quite similar everywhere. Like, I may not be in a position to surely put straight my child because of our everyday experience. So we also feel and believe our police officers are too occupied outside there.
Kampala Metropolitan East Community Liaison Officer ASP Wakisada Yakubu say that Schools Against Crime concept is meant to create a rapport between police officers and their children.
Job, they are helping us. Actually, where we cannot reach for them, they can reach, and they are giving out the same message that we do. It is a good idea, and I would like to urge every police officer where they are to support them in case of anything.
The director studies at Intinda Police Student School, or TMUTA, said schools have experienced indiscipline from pupils as a result of the barracks environment.
Next up here, some families are also broken down. You may find a child who is even at our school here. She's the head of the family. The parent is not there. The father is transferred from here to another station. I think that it is the kids themselves take care of themselves. So you don't expect much like discipline there.
The Schools Against Crime provides learners an education foundation to desist from committing petty crimes. Mutesa Sera Haruna reporting for UBC News.
Now, Makre Tumwebaze, a leukemia patient, needs 200 million Ugandan shillings for a bone marrow transplant. Now, Makre's parents said they have raised only 13 million to have the 3-year-old get treatment in India after being diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia at Mulago Cancer Institute.
Like any other child, 3-year-old Makre Tumwebaze looks healthier, although his health is wanting. According to his mother, Grace Tumwebaze was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, a blood cancer, at 7 months old at Mulago Hospital, and since then they have been on medication.
They checked on his bone marrow and Makre did not have any cancer cells. So we were given remission and we would just go back for review. So on remission, we spent about 1.5 years. So when we went back again for review, the doctors told us that Makre had started developing leukemia again.
However, according to Mulago Hospital, Makre Tumwebaze's situation has deteriorated, thus advising them to go for a bone marrow transplant in India to save his life.
And the bone marrow transplant is not done in Uganda, it's done in other countries like USA, UK, India or South Africa. The doctors have told us that this transplant needs around 200 million and above.
We are appealing to each and everyone out there to help us to raise the money that has been asked. Money we are getting as a family is very small. If we are to say let's save to raise this money that I have said, it will take a very long time, maybe 20 years or 30. So that's why we are coming to the public to get help from you.
Makre Tumwebaze's parents adds they now need 222 million Uganda shillings to take this child for treatment in India. However, they have managed to raise 13 million. To help Makre Tumwebaze, please contact 0774 48 98 36 or 0775 58 79 38 or 0700 37 97 75 or through the FCU account number 01 98 10 11 15 81 95. I'm Namamonde Deborah, UBC.
And we do believe that well-wishers are there in this beautiful country of Uganda who can come and help Makre Tumwebaze to get that treatment in India. We'll now take a short break, but we'll return with business.
Hello, Uganda! We introduce to you the first and ever My Right to Play Christmas Kids Festival 2019. Let the kids feel the Christmas Eve on the 21st of December at the Legend Sports Ground in Lugogo. Entrance is 10,000 shillings only and parents free. Bring your child and have an opportunity to play, sing, dance and discover their talents. Mujje tuyingira amazaalibwa nga bato basanyusa bato bannaabwe. Mulete abaana bammwe banyumirwe, banywe, bazanye. Kino kigenda kubeera kijjabe. Proudly sponsored by Legend Sports Ground, UBC TV, Star TV, U24 TV, Star FM, Magic 100 FM, UBC Butebo, Marketing, UMC Victoria Hospital and Ideas Workshop. Bw'oba oyagala omwana wo okuyimba kuba ku ssimu eno.
We're coming to you live from Butekanga in Kamuli district.
In the sub-county where I come from, where my leadership is being practiced, yeah, money is really a big problem that is hindering women to join leadership.
And in case you didn't know, Fasi Fasi is a show intended to make way for women in the leadership sphere. How can we create a space where someone who does not have 20 million shillings but has the ideas can become a leader in our community?
Did you know that the journey to becoming a politician is very costly, especially for women in rural areas like Kamuli, where the main source of income is subsistence farming? Going by numbers, money seems to be a critical factor in joining the political race.
And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's make way and make some noise.
Welcome back from that short break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Let's talk some business now. And we begin in Soroti, where Soroti Fruits Limited has opened after months of research on how the factory is to be run and maintained. The Chief Executive Officer, Soroti Fruits Limited, Ndaula Douglas Kachuchu, decried challenges of inconsistent power and failure of some farmers to embrace the project. He was meeting a team from the Manifesto Implementation Unit that is in Teso region to monitor government projects and presidential pledges.
Government, with assistance from Korea International Agency in partnership with Teso Tropical Fruit Growers Cooperative Union, set up a fruit factory in Teso region. Farmers are approaching factory management to sell their fruit. It is now 20 years since the president requested the people of Soroti to start growing citrus fruits.
After commissioning, we didn't have working capital which could take us into commercial production. That is one. Two, we wanted to collect enough customer feedback on the product before we go massively launching it. So each time we would produce a bunch, we sample districts, we get the feedback, we go back on the drawing board until now, where we have a
Management of the fruit factory advised farmers to form groups, although some farmers have refused.
We are in an industry which is very competitive. Unfortunately, this being a political project, we find ourselves with everybody as a spokesperson for the project. And that is why we are having a lot of misreporting, a lot of... Otherwise, for us, we are now concentrating on the business side of things.
However, despite the progress of the project, there are challenges that need redress.
The surges, which damages our equipment, which also takes our production costs high because we use a lot of diesel, which also interrupts our production. That is one major one. We need, I think, a revisit for the laws such that government businesses can operate competitively.
Farmers who embraced the project have shared views about farming.
The community selected the enterprise of citrus as a project or an enterprise that can get them out of poverty.
The farmers we represent are very happy because what they get right now is not the same as it used to be.
Okero Gilbert is an official from the Manifesto Implementation Unit.
Factory is operational and the farmers, at least they are supplying the fruits.
There were also some recommendations made to further the transformation of the project as well as being beneficial to farmers.
My only appeal is that for the youth out there, we have the advantage here of the climate and the soils for the citrus growing. So they should take advantage of this factory that is now here, and they should be able to grow the citrus, maintain their gardens, most importantly form groups, because the factory is only going to be dealing with people in group settings.
Soroti Fruit Limited was established to process citrus fruits in Teso region, with government providing land, utilities and infrastructure, while $7.4 million was set aside by Koika to train personnel and purchase equipment. Sudat Kai, UBC.
Thanks, Kai. And we'll be bringing you more stories in as far as the implementation of those things are concerned. But let's now look at the President of Uganda Women Council, Lovin Kobsinje, has appealed for tax reduction and removal of roadblocks, which she says affect women businesses. Now, this was during the Uganda Women Fish Association Symposium that was held at Raida Hotel in Mukono.
At Musima Village, Mafubira Sub-County in Jinja District, a group of 13 women praises Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program for equipping them with skills, enterprise growth, value addition, and marketing their products. The women are engaged in poultry and bricklaying.
Abandi bali kusomesa abaana era nga tuna aka group kaife eri yali kova akasente ako omwana we ali kwenda amutwala kusoma busomesa n'owundi eri okubaje okutikira n'owundi yena ali n'omwana ali kusoma obusawo.
In July last year, the group received 4 million Uganda shillings from government, which they invested in poultry and have so far returned 2 million out of the profits acquired.
Emiliyoni na kitundu batwafuna sente edo twaida twali tuzira kiyumba era nga twayira muki omwo bwe twaleta twagule kokoda ife twayaya twakatunda ku emirundi gitya 3 ogwokuna n'ogwo bwe twatunda olwasooka era nga bweri nti ntandikwa byaja bulungi kuba tetwakola losi aye tetwatoolayo okwokozesa.
In October this year, they started a bricklaying project with 9,000 bricks currently. According to Mirembe Dorothy, Mafubira Sub-County Community Development Officer, 6 groups in the sub-county received between 4 million and 6 million, and some have repaid 100%. The sub-county has over 20 women groups.
They are able to pay back the loan which was given to them. In fact, they've so far paid back 2 million out of the 4.5. This is an advice to all the women out there. You should get engaged in government programs because out of the little that you are funded, you are able to achieve much out of it.
The team from the Manifesto Implementation Unit of the State House were impressed by the work.
Which have done very, very well under Women's Empowerment Project. Definitely, this is very, very encouraging. And I would like they have moved from poultry, now they're expanding to brick making. I think that's a good progress. But I think they still need more support from government. They need more support, and I think everything possible should be done to support them to grow further.
Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program was started in 2015 under the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development and targets women aged 18 to 65 years in groups of between 10 and 15 members in all districts. Bernard Yiga, UBC TV, Jinja.
Thanks, Bernard, but would like to apologize for the mix-up of the stories there. But that one was the Uganda Women Entrepreneurs HIP program, which is changing lives in Jinja. And during a visit by the Manifesto Implementation Unit of State House in Eastern Region, women groups in Mafubira Sub-County told UBC that the program has reduced poverty and gender-based violence in homes. But let's go back to that story which we had earlier on introduced, and that is about the president of the Uganda Women Council, Lovin Kobsinje, who has appealed for tax reduction and removal of roadblocks, which she says affect women businesses. Take a watch.
Women have raised concerns over issues that affect their businesses. They cite high taxes and roadblocks, which they claim affect women in the fish trade. Uganda Women's Fish Association has held a symposium to discuss ways of streamlining and expanding the fishing sector. Lovin Kobsinje, the president of Uganda Women's Council, says the symposium is a network to promote business. Most women in Africa face high taxes and roadblocks while transporting their products from one country to another.
We have challenges of poor processing technology. Women are working in a very bad environments at the landing site. So we want to advocate for good working conditions, better salaries for women in the fisheries sector, and making sure that women are empowered to help their husbands at home, to also know that yes, if a woman and a man both work, a family grows better than if it were just a man.
To get our way forward as women, how do we get more income from fish? And one of the things we are thinking we must do this is by making our fish processing and fish post-harvest losses.
In a keynote address, the Director for Fisheries in the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Dr. Rukunga Edward, says that they will bring all women on board in fishing industry.
Right from production, handling and processing and value addition, and this experience will help greatly our women here in Uganda to improve on their businesses, which they have established and they are managing. It is important to note that the women in Uganda are involved in fisheries. Over 60% are involved in small-scale processing.
The leader of Germany Agency for International Cooperation, Adolf Gasteil, advised women on the market.
There's a big market for fish. We traditionally had, for night perch, we had the export market, but a lot of night perch now, we would think about 30% goes onto the local market. Of course, on top we have the tilapia, which mainly goes onto the local market and regional market, and the mukene.
These ladies were from different parts of the continent like Uganda, Zambia, Nigeria, Congo and Tanzania. Story compiled by Tanaba Kenneth for UBC News.
To Jinja district now, where work was paralyzed at the Bidco factory in Jinja as workers went on a sit-down strike due to poor working conditions and bad meals. Now they forced the Jinja RDC, Eric Sakwa, to taste their daily meal at the factory, which they claim is substandard.
Business came to a standstill at Bidco factory in Jinja following a sit-down strike by the workers over poor working conditions. The workers refused to listen to police, which had come to calm them down, and they requested for the RDC to listen to their concerns. Jinja RDC Eric Sakwa promised to address their challenges to the employers as requested. In the meeting, the general manager Bidco Daniel Kerr apologized to the workers and promised to solve their concerns. Bidco is one of the biggest factories in Jinja, and it employs more than 3,000 employees, both casual and permanent.
And moving further afield, we got to Hong Kong, where several protesters have been arrested while trying to run from a Hong Kong university campus surrounded by police. Now, around 100 people tried to leave the Polytechnic University, but were met with tear gas and rubber bullets. In the past week, the campus has turned into a battleground as long-running anti-government protests became more violent. A small number managed to successfully leave the campus using rope ladders before being picked up by motorcycles. Now, Hong Kong's hospital authority says 116 people have been injured and taken to hospital. The violence is one of the worst seen during months of unrest in the semi-autonomous Chinese territory. Sports news now, and in FUFA Super League game played this evening at StarTimes Stadium, Lugogo, a Proline Football Club defeated Maroons Football Club by 3 goals to 2. Now, despite winning just once in their last games, Proline started today's game in confident mode. Bottom of the table, Proline picked 3 vital points against the improved Luzira-based Club Maroons, seeking to finish the first round with a better points tally. Now, Proline win leaves Mujib's side at the bottom of the 16-team league with 8 points gathered from 12 games. Meanwhile, despite the defeat, Maroons remain 7th on the table with 19 points collected from 14 games. And that was the sports news. Let's have a look now at what the weather prospects for tomorrow are likely to be with Molly Kenyana.
Once again, I want to welcome you to the Weather Center. My name is Molly Kenyana, and we shall remember that the weather report is brought to you by Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Well, we still have a continuation of wet weather activities across most areas within the country, and according to the available data, by 9 o'clock this morning, we had Lira reporting the highest amount of rainfall, that was 27.3 millimeters. We also had a total of 13.3 across Jinja. Now move further to our satellite analysis, where we see that the rain belt is still widely spread across much of our region. And from this week, I anticipate that tomorrow in the morning, we're likely to start off the day with rainy conditions. Those will be across the Lake Victoria Basin, parts of eastern Uganda, as well as the western stretch. And across the north, as well as the northeastern part of the country, we shall see intervals of sunny and cloudy conditions. Now later in the afternoon is when we expect much more chances for rainy conditions. We shall see wet weather activities across much of the country. It will be another day for you to have your umbrella handy. Now we move on to our daytime highs, where we're expecting a cooler day across Kampala, cooler than what we were dealing with today. We shall see temperatures going up to 26. We also have a maximum of 29 that will be across the Karamoja region, and Kabale Highlands will be trending a little bit cooler than what we had today. We shall see a maximum of 23 degrees centigrade. The rest of the country, temperatures will be in upper 20s. Now across the world cities, we're forecasting rainy conditions for Dubai at a daytime high of 26. We're also likely to have sunny conditions across Cairo. And with that, we come to the end of today's weather report. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Molly Kenyana, and for more information, please do not hesitate to visit our website. Have a good day tomorrow.
Thanks, Molen, for that weather report. And of course, we've been warned there will be some rain early morning, so you'd better carry that cardigan or umbrella so that you can be ready for that rain in the morning. And with that, we've almost come to the end of this bulletin. But before we leave you, let's have a quick reminder of our top stories. In our news tonight, Health Ministry wants supplementary budget for medical interns. President Museveni guides police on effective operations. Chaweza report shows a decline in literacy and numeracy. And elsewhere in the world, about 200 protesters remain barricaded inside a Hong Kong university. It is coming to 12 minutes to 11 in the studios of UBC TV. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On Sign Language, it has been Mogalu Mohammed, and I am Edward Rukidi Kijananguma, wishing you a blessed night and see you tomorrow.
Was brought to you by UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.